registered sex offender convicted of raping an 8-year-old girl just moved in less than 300 feet from a local elementary school, and it is legal.
But neighbors and parents are concerned and frustrated that nothing's being done. 13 ABC's Micaela Marshall looking into how this is possible. Micaela.
Well, Lee, Diane, you can see right here is Arlington Elementary School, and just below that is where a convicted rapist just moved in. And this is all possible because of a legal technicality.
Neighbors within 1,000 feet of convicted rapist Richard Davis received this notice in the mail yesterday from the Lucas County Sheriff's Office. Davis's address is less than 300 feet from Arlington Elementary School, causing concern.
Our children go to this school, and the neighborhood kids have to pass through this intersection right past where he lives.
But Sergeant Robert Boggs says he is not breaking any law because of a loophole in the Ohio Revised Code.
All depends on when the crime occurred.
Richard Davis was convicted in 2002 for rape and gross sexual imposition. The crimes happened in 2001 and involved an 8-year-old girl that was a friend of the family. Davis was booked in the Lucas County Jail and served 9 years in prison. He's been a registered sex offender since 2011. Davis is considered a Tier 2 offender, classified as a habitual sex offender, meaning he has to register as a sex offender once a year for 20 years.
If you committed your offense before July 31st, 2003, you can live within 1,000 feet of a school. And since Mr. Davis committed his offense in 2001, he does not fall under that part of the Ohio Revised Code.
It's very difficult to believe that where there's an elementary school and children involved, that there isn't some law on the books, or there wasn't at least some law past tense on the books that could apply that would prohibit him from residing across from the playground in this school.
Davis registered his new address on Woodsdale September 5th.
Nothing can be done?
Nothing can be done. As long as he complies with whatever restrictions he has, you know, as long as he comes down and registers with us, he's not violating any laws.
Neighbors for now say all they can do is come together to raise awareness so everyone can keep an eye out for any potential danger.
And Sergeant Boggs says a sex offender may live right next door and you wouldn't even know it. These notices are only sent out for Tier 3 sexual predators and some Tier 2 sex offenders like Davis. To check if any are near your home, head to the Lucas County Sheriff's website. Lee, Diane.
Now, all of the concern from the community is inspiring the woman who says she is Richard Davis's victim, inspiring her to step forward. And she spoke exclusively tonight with 13 ABC's Micaela Marshall. Micaela.
Lee, Diane, our policy is to not identify sexual assault victims. But in this case, the woman who says she's the one who was raped by Davis when she was 8 years old reached out to us and wanted to share her name, her face, and her story with all of you. She wants to show she's not afraid anymore and hopes she can find closure after years of agony.
Stephanie Dominique says she was the 8-year-old girl Richard Davis raped.
I would act like I was sleeping because I was terrified of what would happen if I opened my eyes.
Stephanie says Davis was dating her mother and living with her family at the time. She says she didn't have a bed to sleep in, so she slept on the couch.
I remember being on the couch in a tutu, and I woke up to him, going down on me, as you would say in a term, and sticking his hands inside me. It was really terrifying.
She says Davis raped her multiple times over the span of 1 year.
My body told me it was wrong, but because of what environment I lived in and the things that I saw, I didn't know that it was okay to say anything.
It wasn't until she went to a routine checkup and a doctor noticed something was wrong that she told her mother.
She didn't go straight to the police. She went and found him and tried bringing him back to our home.
Stephanie says she has no relationship with her mother now and was adopted shortly after Davis's conviction.
I hate him for taking away everything that was innocent about me.
She is now 24, raising 2 boys, a 2- and 4-year-old.
And you're still deeply affected by this.
Oh, every day. Every day. I can't go somewhere without seeing somebody who even remotely reminds me of him without going in a panic attack.
When Stephanie heard the news that her rapist legally moved in next to Arlington Elementary, she was disgusted.
It doesn't matter to me if he was convicted before 2003. No sex offender ever should be allowed that close to any child.
Stephanie says the neighbors protesting have given her the courage to speak out.
When I was 8, I didn't have that kind of support. If there's any way that this can change, then I'm going to be part of it.
Stephanie decided to come forward and tell her story in large part because of the outpouring of support she's received on social media. She told me she plans to do all she can to prevent her rapist from harming any other child. Lee Diane. Well, Diane, it's been a long couple of weeks for the Fulton family, and they wanted to make it easier for their son to play outside. So today I talked to the family and the contractor to get to the bottom of what happened.
It's Nicholas Fulton's summer of fun. Blue hair, sled hockey, tennis camps, and his favorite,
eating tons of cheese.
Nicholas was born with a severe case of spina bifida and hydrocephalus.
It's something that prevents my legs from working, and it's like my spinal cord's all twisted on the inside of my back.
He will undergo his 14th brain surgery this summer.
He can't have any physical contact with anyone. He's going to be home with us for 4 to 6 weeks. I thought that he could at least access his backyard, and he can't.
I love playing outside.
But this is what it takes right now for Nicholas to go play in his backyard. Nicholas's mom, Christina, just wants him to be independent.
I know for him, not helping him, but being there to support him is the best thing I can do for him.
The Fulton family hired Jacob Lewandowski of Jacob's Ladder Handyman Services in Toledo to build a customized ramp and deck.
Nicholas is going to be able to come out to here, be flat.
I mean, I'm very picky with this stuff, and I've done my research. He had nothing but 5-star reviews.
The Fultons gave Lewandowski a deposit check for $3,000. 2 days later, he cashed it, but then never showed up to do the job.
Text message, emailed him. Christina's went to his office yesterday, left a letter. No replies, nothing. He just...
I'm really looking forward to it, and Jacob's just made it harder for us.
It wasn't until 13 ABC called Lewandowski today that he finally answered the Fultons.
So why didn't you just call them as soon as you knew that it wasn't going to happen?
Embarrassment. I mean, I should have, and I didn't. So...
And you just ignored them?
I did, and it's embarrassing.
You're saying now you're offering to do the work for free, and you're going to give them a full refund tomorrow.
Yes.
So how are you going to come up with $3,000 by tomorrow?
I've sold vehicles.
The family filed a police report, and Lewandowski is closing his business. He says he's done with construction work for good. Both sides set tomorrow at 4 p.m. for Lewandowski to give a full cash refund. And we're going to follow up tomorrow. Diane?
Good evening. We are starting tonight with a brutal beating in what police believe is a random attack. A 16-year-old was hit in the head with a metal baseball bat while walking along Main Street in Toledo. His injuries are critical, his family devastated. The mother of the teen is speaking out in an interview you will only see on 13 ABC, and Micaela Marshall talked with her tonight. Micaela.
Bill, 16-year-old Marcus Bailey was just playing ball in the neighborhood park with his friends when a group of unknown suspects jumped him for no reason, beating him with his own metal bat.
16-year-old Marcus Bailey is described as a quiet boy who loves computers and graphic design. He's a sophomore at TTA. His mother, Shelley, says she's selective of who her son hangs around with.
You're good kids, or you don't hang out with my child. You know, like I said, I'm the type, I don't like them walking to the carry out by themselves. You're in groups if you go at all.
A walk from the park back to his friend's house on Main Street in East Toledo soon turned violent just before 8 p.m. Saturday. Marcus was carrying a metal baseball bat when an unknown group of guys approached the kids. Marcus and his friends started to run.
When my son started to run, they grabbed the baseball bat out of his hand and they smacked him in the back of his head with the metal baseball bat so hard that he fell on his face.
The suspects fled before police arrived, investigators calling this a random attack. Marcus is unresponsive and in a coma.
He had severe bleeding and swelling of the brain. They had to remove part of his skull. Without surgery, he would have died.
Doctors tell Shelley the prognosis isn't good. He will be in the hospital for weeks, likely go to rehab after that, and the extent of damage done to his brain could take a long time to find out.
Some monsters decided to terrorize kids because that's what these are, as kids. And now my son is fighting for his life because some monster decided it'd be fun to smack a kid in the head with a baseball bat. I talk to him. I hope he hears me. I tell him to fight. Like I said, he's fought since the day he was born.
Shelley told 13 ABC her son's life has been a struggle from the start since he was born premature. She's praying for his recovery and that those responsible are caught.
We beat the odds once, he can beat the odds again.
Police are still searching for the suspects and investigating the attack. If you have any information, contact Toledo Police. Reporting live, Micaela Marshall, 13 ABC Action News.
Well, you've heard Ben's teaser, it's going to be cold, but imagine with all this cold, you still have to boil your water just to bathe. That's what tenants at one local apartment complex say they've been dealing with for weeks, and they are upset. Micaela Marshall digging for answers tonight. She joins us live. Micaela?
Bill, that situation you just described is exactly what's happening here at the Parkwood Apartments. The residents are angry and begging for help. It's a basic necessity, hot water, something residents at the Parkwood Apartments say they've gone without for a while now.
We didn't have no hot water for about 3 weeks. We just went through the holiday with no hot water. You know how hard it was to even cook?
Most tenants fear backlash for speaking out, choosing to express their frustration but not show their face.
It's just unsafe, it's unsanitary, and it's just ridiculous.
It's been quite the hassle the last couple of weeks to feel clean in this building. You have to boil hot water on the stove and carry a pan all the way to the bathroom, often making several trips. All of this work just so you don't have to take an ice cold bath.
Right now, I am boiling water so I can wash my butt. This is very inconvenient. And nasty. And nasty.
We have elderly people in here. We have people who literally can't get out of their wheelchairs.
This notice posted in the elevators and on apartment doors days ago is all they've heard from management.
They ain't going through what we're going through. They go home every night. They go home to their families, their apartments, their houses, and everything. They got hot water. They're able to wash their behind. Why should we suffer?
13 ABC made multiple calls to the company in St. Louis that manages the building, as well as the local owners. No one was able to answer Sunday, calling from 13 ABC Action News and give an explanation.
What they tell us is we're working on it, and that's the only answer that we get.
And the residents do have a theory about why it's taking so long to get that hot water turned back on. They believe that the boiler system is broken, which is expensive to fix, something they just don't think that the management wants to deal with. Bill?
Kayla, obviously this is a story we're going to continue to follow.